What's up, guys? I'm Audrey Faranga and I have an anterior pelvic tilt. Good news is that I have become certified in corrective exercise and I know how, and I've also corrected my own anterior pelvic tilt. What is that word again? Anterior pelvic tilt, which that means is an arch in your back. So this is your pelvis, your hip bones and your pubic bone, and when it is arched, people usually have a hard time doing pretty much anything with great form, and usually their abs have a hard time, doing lots of leg lowering exercises on their back. They may be experiencing back pain. They may have deactivated glutes because these quads are so tight. So I have the 5 most important exercises for you to do to reverse that pelvic tilt. And 2 of them are stretches. So you know already the hip flexor stretch probably. So we're gonna put 1 foot up, 1 foot down, make sure they're separated so you feel supported. You're gonna tuck your hip under, squeeze your butt, and hold. So you're trying to rotate here, getting your pubic bone up to your chin. You don't wanna have to push forward too much, but if you are so tight that you can't rotate or feel your stretch here, then you can lean forward. So I invite you to hit pause on the video, hold it for 30 seconds each side, and then start the video again. Here's the next one. It's a quad stretch. So you're just gonna try and grab that back foot, and here's the thing. Push your hips forward, squeeze your butt, and push your foot into your hand this way, and use your back muscles to kind of pull this way with your hand. So while this is a good stretch, doing a little push and pull gets a huge stretch through here. Again, hold this for 30 whole seconds each side. The longer the better, guys. You gotta get those stretched. All right, then we go down to the ground and we're gonna do some hip rocks. So, you're gonna be tucking your hips, again, pubic bone up to chin, and trying to contract in your core. If you need to squeeze your glutes, you can, but you don't have to. And then you'll inhale and arch, and exhale and tuck. Now this one is a really good one, especially for beginners, because a lot of the time the hips are so tight that some of the stretches they may even have a hard time feeling. And then what I really want you to make sure is that when you tuck, your back touches the floor and your tailbone even lifts off the ground. You'll notice. Continue with your hip tucks. So since you're in an anterior tilt, to correct that, I'm gonna put you in the exact opposite position and force you to tuck, 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 and squeeze those glutes. Yes, you do wanna be able to hold neutral, but if we don't give you the opposite direction of where you're headed, you're not gonna find that neutral. Good, so you've been doing those hip tucks, and now that when you exhale, you may feel your core contracting. Keep that core contracted here as you flip it over and give me a plank from the elbows. So elbows directly under your shoulders, toes here. Do not push forward from your heels or back. They should be directly above your toes. And again, no arched backs here. This is not going to fix your anterior tilt. You need to tuck those hips under as much as you can. Hold it for 30 seconds. And again, what that looks like is grabbing the top of your hips and tucking them and squeezing, and squeeze your butt and hold that plank for 30 seconds. And listen, most of us with anterior tilt cannot hold a perfect plank for the full 30 seconds when we first start out. You have to be a strict stickler with yourself, just like I'm a stickler with my clients, okay? So you need to be super honest about your form and only hold it for as long as you actually can, and then multiply it into those 30 seconds. So what that means is if you can only hold that tuck and squeeze for 10 seconds, then you need to do 3 sets of 10 seconds, then work your way up to 2 sets of 15 seconds, and then finally 1 set of 30 seconds. Okay, so you have your plank. And then the last one is toe taps. So I have a whole video on dead bugs and toe taps, and a whole other video on core breathing, which breathing is one of the most important things for posture. So just the exercises isn't always enough. So you might want to check out my core breathing video as well. Those toe taps Your knees are gonna be right above your hips, and all my anterior tilt people, you're probably gonna be like this if you try to keep your knees here, and you probably can't keep your back on the ground unless you bring your knees in. So for your sake right now, you can do it with your knees in as long as your back is touching the ground. Pull your belly button in and tighten your core like someone's about to punch you. And then you're gonna take an inhale. Exhale, slowly lower one foot to the ground. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down. Good. You're gonna do this about 10 times on each side. Now, your goal again is to have it so that your knees are out here directly above your hips. And that low core section, right where the yoga pants come up, should be doing the work, not your hip flexors driving your knees into your chest. All right, so just to review, we had your hip flexor stretch, then your quad stretch, 30 seconds each side. Do this every day. Then you have your hip rocking, about 30 seconds on that, or 10 rocks. Then you have your plank for 30 seconds with a hip tuck. The more planks, the better. And don't forget that you can break up your 30 seconds into whatever amount of time that you can maintain that perfect hip tuck for in your plank. Then to cap it all off, then we have your toe taps. Use your breathing, try and keep your core down to the ground, and remember to advance yourself so that your knees end up above your hips and not in your chest. All right, give it a try. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you so much.